Now today what I'm going to show you is we're going to do a roast carvery leg of lamb. And how I'm going to cook this today is I'm going to stud it with some rosemary and garlic. So I have 3 or 4 cloves of garlic here, which I'm going to slice up. I've got some rosemary, and then I've got some carrots and some onions that I'm going to use when I'm actually roasting the leg of lamb, okay? I have a small little pan over on the stove, heating up. That's where we're going to sear the lamb off. And then I've got some red wine and some beef stock and some salt and pepper. So the first thing that we're going to do, when this lamb comes to you, it'll be vac packed. You just need to take it out of the bag and use a piece of kitchen towel and dry off any of the excess moisture that might be on the lamb, okay? And then there's just a small little bit of sinew up at the top of the lamb there, which I would say that you can just nip off. That tendon, I'll just take that off because that's not going to tenderise in any way when we roast the lamb. I've got my oven preset here to 180 degrees. Okay, so we're going to roast the lamb in the oven. So what you need to do is you just need to take a nice small sharp pointed knife and we're going to make some incisions all around the lamb. So I'm just pushing the knife in, a little X all the way through. I'm going to just make my way around the lamb to do this. So I've hit the bone there, but that's okay. Right up into the, I'm just hitting the bone there, but that's all right. I'm just doing a little X so I can find the incision when I go back to put the rosemary and garlic in. And I'll just turn it over and do the same on the underneath. So that's just bone. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then what I just want to do is take the garlic. I've already peeled it. I'm just going to slice it into little pieces. I wouldn't put whole cloves in because I think it'd be a little bit too overpowering. And then all you do is just take the piece of garlic and push it in. That's a little bit big. Push it in all around the lamb. So this obviously would be perfect to have. I'm going to have this on Easter Sunday, so it'll be a lovely roast to order for that time. But any time really from in the spring is perfect for this. So once you find those little holes, just push them in the garlic, make your way all around. And what we're going to do after this is we're going to go over to the stove. I'm just going to do another couple here in this fat part of the meat. Yeah. So as you can see, you can't see that garlic because I pushed it down into the meat, and then I'm going to just take little sprigs of rosemary. I'm going to use the scissors just to cut myself little sprigs because we're also going to push that inside the meat. So I just want to take these little sprigs and do exactly the same. So it's going in beside the garlic, if you like. So while the meat is roasting, it's a bit big, this garlic and rosemary is going to flavour the meat all the way through. And because it's going to be in the oven for like probably the guts of 2 hours, maybe an hour and 40 minutes, the garlic will obviously cook and it'll be perfectly good to eat when we roast and carve. So all those little incisions that I made now have a piece of garlic and a piece of rosemary stuffed inside. So what we're going to do is make our way over to the stove now, and we're going to season it up and sear it off. Now, once we've prepared our leg of lamb and studded it with the rosemary and garlic, the next stage is that we have to sear it off. So I have a roasting tray on here on a medium heat. I've got my leg of lamb, and I also need some other ingredients. I've got some carrots, which I will add in after we sear it off. I've got some onions, the little bit of garlic and rosemary I have left, I'm going to add that in. I have a litre of beef or lamb stock if you can get it. I have some red wine, some salt and some pepper, and a little bit of light olive oil. So I'm going to add my olive oil into the pan, and then I'm going to season this leg of lamb. It's quite a big piece of lamb, okay, so it'll take plenty of seasoning. So I'm going to start with that side first, and I'm going to place it in And then I'll season the other side of it. And what we're trying to do here is to start the cooking process by searing the lamb off and giving it some colour. Now I've spent a couple of minutes just searing off this lamb to get a little bit of colour. I'm just going to take it out back onto that plate where I seasoned it, and I'm going to add in my carrots that I've just cut in half. We're going to put the lamb on top of these carrots and these onions. So I just put a couple of red onions here, but white onions would also work perfect for here. The rest of that garlic, a little bit of rosemary. So basically what I didn't put inside the lamb. And then I'm going to sit that lamb back up onto that. I'm actually going to start with the lamb upside down, so the under part of the lamb, and after about an hour in the oven I'll turn it around. Now I'm going to add in a glass of red wine, and a litre of beef stock. So by adding this beef stock and red wine to the bottom of the tray like this, it will help to keep the lamb nice and moist, and it'll also make a delicious gravy for us. So I'm just going to season that lamb up now with a little twist of pepper. And when I turn it around, I'll season it again, and another pinch of salt. And then it's going to make its way into my preheated oven, the 180 degrees. So I'm just going to open the door, make my life a little bit easier. And I'm going to lift it in. In it goes, and it's going to roast away in there now happily for the next hour. So I'm just going to set my timer for an hour. And after an hour I'll come back and I'll turn the lamb over and I'll roast it for another 45 minutes for an hour. And then the crucial part in this process, I'll take it out of the oven, cover it in some tin foil and let it rest. For a piece of meat like that on the bone, it will need to rest for at least an hour before we can carve. Now the lamb has had an hour in the oven. I just want to show you. So as you can see, it's taken on a beautiful colour. So all we need to do now is just to turn it over. So this is probably the right way up to have it now. And we're going to let that lamb roast for a further 50 minutes to an hour, just to cook through to a nice medium temperature. Now, my leg of lamb has come out of the oven and it's rested for a good hour. As you can see now, look, it's beautifully roasted. And all I've done is the juices that were in the pan, I've reduced them down by half, and that's made my lovely gravy. And then I've made a little mint sauce. So this is just mint and basil and some red wine vinegar and some olive oil and some capers. And I put it in a blender. We've given you the recipe on the Johnstone website for this as well. And now all I want to do is take a nice couple of slices of this beautiful lamb. And as you can see there, there's little bits of garlic and rosemary studded through that lamb. Do one more. I have a nice sharp carver knife there. So to serve, I'm just going to put a nice dollop of that mint sauce in the middle of the bowl. I'll serve my lamb on top. And then I'll just finish it off with a little drizzle of that lovely gravy. So this whole recipe is up on the website for Johnstone, and I've also given a recipe for garlic potatoes. So as I said, it'd be perfect to have over this spring season. So it's your roast leg of lamb from Johnstone, where you can order from www.johnstonebeefshop.com.